Well, to further discuss the US protests, I'm joined by Charlie McGrath. He's founder of Wide Awake News, based in Bozeman in Montana. Charlie, thanks very much indeed for being with us live here on RT. Now, the protests grow bigger and they're taking different forms, with angry Americans now planning to personally visit some of New York's richest tycoons, as we've just been hearing there. They're in their fourth week of protests, but are they actually making any difference, do you think?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the frustration level, it's really reminiscent. I was with the first groups that marched in the Tea Party back when George W. Bush was president, when we started this stimulus bailout phenomenon. And at that point in time, it was more forward-looking, looking at what the government was doing and what they planned to do. Then we entered into this bailout phenomenon. We were forward-looking, seeing these problems coming down the road. Well, now the rubber's hit the road, so these people who are out in the streets now are feeling the frustration and they're feeling the hopelessness that a lot of people were saying was coming because of outrageous government corruption between Wall Street and Washington, D.C.
Well, as we're talking at the moment, we're bringing pictures of some of those protests, and it looks to me as if it's not just about a protest about those rich people being taxed or indeed not being taxed. What are the other issues that they're angry about?
Well, here we have a situation over 3.5 years, this is global. Right? We see the standard of living people in this country. A report came out today showing it fell yet again. Yet on the other side of the coin, we see the too big to fail. A lot of these people you mentioned in the story earlier, the homes that are being marched onto, these people have not had to take any kind of a haircut or face any of the responsibility for completely annihilating not only our economy here, but globally. Look what's happening around the world. The farther we get down this road of transferring private failure onto the sovereign citizens of this planet, the more we're going to see true organic hostility. And in a lot of cases, I think it is justified and it is righteous.
So are there any clear, practical steps the US government appear to be taking or should be taking to appease this anger? What do you see is what sort of action do you see being taken by them at the moment?
I'll tell you exactly what I'm seeing. When these protests started in New York City some 20-plus days ago, basically RT was the only one out there covering it. And after 19 days and the realization that it wasn't going away, we saw an onslaught of mainstream media, corporate media, show up and try to paint this as a democratic cause. So what they should be doing and what they are doing are completely different things. What they're going to try to do is drive a wedge between people of this country, painting this to be a left-wing event versus the already co-opted Tea Party. So I think the agenda is very self-evident. They want to take this Occupy Wall Street movement that is organic and spreading throughout this country and even into London, I see now over the weekend, and they want to drive a wedge between different factions in this country. The point I want to make, and the point that I'm going to keep driving home on my radio program and website, is there is no difference. There is a two-party system, but it isn't red or blue team or Democrat or Republican. It's the very small minority of haves versus the ever-expanding have-nots.
Well, clearly you're proactive in this movement, and you did indeed mention that you understand the protests are moving to London. Could we actually then see a truly global anti-corporate rally and revolution perhaps taking place now?
Absolutely. Could. We already see it. I mean, look at the world today. We have protests on every continent. They seem to be intensifying with every new bailout that's announced. Europe right now is in the middle. We're waiting on Slovakia to come out and vote on extending or expanding the size of the bailout fund. And as each government turns their back on their citizens, people are taking to the streets because they're losing hope.
Okay, Charlie McGrath, thanks for your time, founder of Wide Awake News, joining us live there in Montana.